Job Creators Network just had a full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal, Flatten the Fear. They've got another huge initiative coming out on August 17th that we had a big conference call on the other day. So that's kind of fun, and he's with us now, Alfredo Ortiz, President, CEO, Job Creators Network at the White House the other day. Alfredo, great to have you with us, man.
Hey, John, good morning. How are you doing?
I love you're the only person in America that comes on my show at 6:05. I love it. It fires me. I tell you what, it keeps you on your toes. It's like Alfredo's my 6 a.m. guy. So I love it.
Well, that's the beauty of waking up at 4:45 in the morning. You're ready.
I know,
to go.
right? You get to do my show at 6. You're at the White House recently. I know you're very involved in the Hispanic outreach. You're on that very effective panel consortium that the president has put together. You were there the other day, but I got to get to the fear-mongering going on with this virus. If you take the Florida Marlins, MLB, 18 people catch it. You got Fauci running around saying Major League Baseball has to be canceled. All 18 Marlins asymptomatic. They have no symptoms. They don't even have a cough, fever, nothing. But you got Fauci running around talking about canceling baseball for the remainder of the season. Alfredo, you can't get through this with this kind of mixed messaging.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, John. And you know, again, you kind of look at these things. I mean, it's just the whole thing seems just so odd. I mean, 18 players, all asymptomatic. I mean, it just, you know, it just gets stranger and stranger by the day. And, you know, of course, it's a challenge, like you said, right? Because, you know, especially, for example, you and I have talked about the school openings. You know, we're pushing hard on the K through 8 because all the science is on our side on that one. We should send, you know, our youngest of kids back to school. That's actually extremely safe for them. And, you know, with the right safety measures and precautions, it should be safe for, you know, for the adults to take care of the kids. But, you know, I keep trying to make the point, just because you're a great parent doesn't make you a great teacher. And, you know, I'm pretty concerned about what's going on there in terms of continuing to keep the kids, you know, in school. I can kind of only cynically say probably, John, that magically, I can guarantee you probably that if Biden were to win, all of a sudden on that following Wednesday, they're going to find all the data that supports why they should go back to school.
Well, of course. I mean, he's the vaccine on November 3rd. I mean, you look at these school boards, they're closing schools to reevaluate November 3rd. I mean, this is not a coincidence. This is all about the election. Now you got one of the most outrageous things, to me is outrageous. You've got just a handful of school boards. Now, if you look at the Mid-Atlantic region, you got a handful of school boards, a handful, 5 or 6, that have said, look, we're going to open up schools on a contingency basis. If you want to stay home, that's fine. We'll do the best we can with distance learning. But if you want to send your kid to school, your child to school, and get an in-classroom education and go through the meal program and everything else, we're going to allow that. So you've got now the National Teachers Union threatening a national strike over a handful of schools being open. What, excuse me? You're going to strike over what? Educating kids, which is your job? What is wrong with these people?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And you look at some of the demands, John. I mean, you take the LA Unified School District, for example. One of their primary demands, defunding of the police. What the heck does that have to do with teaching kids?
No, nothing.
I mean, it's unbelievable, right? It's just so politically in your face now. It's not even funny. I mean, they do not care about the kids anymore, the unions, not the teachers. I love teachers. My sister's a teacher. I'm not sure we've ever talked about this. My sister's a teacher out in California. She loves her kids. She does elementary school special ed. She loves her kids, right? So this is nothing against, you know, the teachers. In fact, I would say we should double the pay of our teachers because they truly are essential workers. I still, by the way, John, I don't understand why they're not classified as essential workers. You've got truck drivers being classified as essential workers. Why not teachers? I mean, they really are essential to our children.
It's an insane way to go about it, but you're right. When you have teachers union in Los Angeles, one of their demands defunding the police. What on earth does that have to do with educating your kids? Right? It's all. I mean, they're turning your children now into political pawns. Yeah,
it's sickening, and parents need to revolt. You know, this is something we were saying is, you know, parents need to speak up. They're not victims. Don't allow yourself to be a victim. If you're a parent out there, right, you can speak up. You can change it. You know, make a difference. You know, Fulton County, Georgia, for example, had decided to do. I think they were going to close the schools still, right? And I think just the other day they reversed that decision because of parental pressure. And that's what you need to do as a parent. this is the right thing to do to send your kids back to school, K through 8 especially. We could probably say that we could have the discussion, on the older kids, the high school kids. First of all, they're a little, more independent. They can drive to school and stuff like that. But the K through 8 system, this is a very, very stressful situation for the parents. Like I said, just because you're a great parent doesn't make you a great teacher. And I've talked to a lot of different parents at this point that say, I'm actually really stressed because I feel like I'm just not doing a good job as a parent because I don't know how to teach my kids. Well, that's why we have teachers, right? That's why we have teachers, because it's truly a vocation to do that. And I say we got to let kids be kids. We got to let parents be parents and let teachers be teachers, right? Let's everybody understand what our roles are and what we need to do. And I say parents need to stand up, make a difference. They're in Virginia. I know that, they keep changing this thing back and forth, but I guess now in Virginia, basically all the schools are now closed, is my understanding.
No, not all of them. I mean, there's a couple school boards that are open, but, they're falling like dominoes in my area, Southeast Virginia. Chesapeake went down Monday 6-3. All Republicans, by the way. This is what's amazing. You start going to some of these cities, they're all Republicans. Like every one of these school board members, although it's a nonpartisan election, all 9 of them are Republicans. 6 Republicans voted to shut the school down with no in-classroom option. Then the domino fell in Virginia Beach. One of the only schools that's doing it the right way is Hanover County, which is outside of Richmond, and they voted the option. You're not comfortable? We'll do the best we can with online learning. We're going to get our more vulnerable teachers that are a little bit older, might have some health complications. They'll focus on distance learning. We're going to get our regular teachers in class, and you make the decision. I mean, God, these school board members have come under such pressure to change that decision and shut the school down. And, for what reason? The parents are happy. That's nothing to do with the parents or the kids. What is it about? Politics. Sick.
Yeah, it's crazy. And, John, there are studies that there's 15 countries out there. There was a study among 15 countries that have already done the opening, and there's different versions. I mean, the one thing we obviously have to understand and we all have to be comfortable with until probably there's some level of vaccine across the across the country is that the schools are going to look different. The classrooms are going to look different. The timing of the class, all that's going to have to be different. We're going to have to be flexible for that. But we've got to do everything possible. Bill Gates, actually, by the way, yesterday, in fact, Bill Gates, and he's not exactly Mr. Conservative, right? Leaning on the right. He came out and says, the data and science shows we got to send our kids back to school. Bill Gates.
Right.
So, CDC has made the recommendation. The American Association of Pediatrics has made the recommendation. But it really is all about the politics, and it's disgusting that people are using our children, right, as political pawns. It's disgusting.
And it's every day. And, what's even more disturbing about this is the parents are just ignored for political purposes. And like you said when you came on, Alfredo Ortiz, this is all about Joe Biden. It's all about the election. And we all know that on November 3rd, if God forbid we get up that day and there's a President-elect Joe Biden, within 48 hours, all this is going to change. Fauci have a new model. Dr. Birx will come out with her scarf, and she'll have some new science that just popped on her computer. I mean, it's just so obvious, but yet we can't stop it, and you got mobs running around in Portland and Seattle, and nobody's doing anything about that. It's a crazy time. John Fredericks Radio Network. We're with Alfredo Ortiz. Alfredo was the president and CEO of the Job Creators Network. Tell us about the full-page ad you guys took out the other day in the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, well, one of the primary things that we're trying to do is to make sure people understand. Again, just going back to 1 second for the flat and the fear. Is this push that people need to make this difference, right? People need to be able to speak up. In particular, and start talking about the truth. John, one of the things I have to say that I really appreciate about you is you're trying to get the truth out. Our main concern right now is that we're not able to get that truth out. Right. I wanted to bring up really quickly, if we could, John, just to shift gears for 2 seconds here, is what happened, to our Tea Party patriots, and the rally that they had. With, about, I think it was like 24 doctors. They were talking about hydroxychloroquine. They were talking about the school closings. Donald Trump Jr. tweets out, the video, and then he gets shut down. I mean, any attempt to get any information that is counter to the cancel culture and doesn't work in their narrative gets shut down. And so, voices like you, John, we got to continue to make sure, are out there, and that we're doing everything possible to make sure that we keep pushing against this, because they are trying to completely keep us in the keep the truth from ever seeing the light of day.
You have a Tea Party event. You have the president's son tweeting it out. It was an event, and Twitter takes him down. It's so I guess if you have mobs and looters burning down federal buildings in Portland, that can stay up. But if you have a Tea Party rally, that gets censored. Is that the world we're in now?
Well, that's the world. I mean, it's becoming more and more apparent, I think, with every single day that we get closer to the November election. The two Americas, basically, that we have to decide. It's the America we love today, basically, and then the anti-America, quite frankly, that the left sees. I mean, I don't see anything of what they've laid out that represents the America that I have grown to love in my lifetime. I mean, every single thing. You have the Joe Biden ads, by the way, John. I mean, you know that we have been at John Fredericks Network. We are the representatives of small businesses across the country. Over 500,000 members, right?
Right.
And I see these ads from Joe Biden, where one of the 3 points that they talk about is how they support small businesses. Oh, really? Is that why you want to crush small businesses with a $15 minimum wage? Is that why you want to crush small businesses with higher regulation? Is that how you support small businesses, by having higher taxes? I mean, what they have laid out is just going to crush our small businesses of today. But they don't care, because they don't care about small businesses. They really don't. In fact, they don't like small businesses because they can't corral them, John. They can't control small businesses, right? Because they're independent, they're free thinkers, they believe in the free enterprise system, and they hate that, right? They want to be able to control them, like the big banks, like insurance companies, right? They want to be able to have 2 or 3 so that they can control it, and that government basically becomes, the number one, controlling interest.
Sure. I mean, it's completely disingenuous. I know, Alfredo, you got a hard out at 6:25. I'm going to let you go. I want to thank you for being with us. Alfredo Ortiz, he's the president and CEO of the Job Creators Network, and they got a big announcement coming in about 2 weeks. It's very exciting. We're going to keep you posted on that. But right now, I'm going to keep it under wraps, Alfredo. I'm going to keep it under wraps until August 17th.
But we'll keep teasing them. I like that.
It's huge. Alfredo, have a great day.
Huge. Thanks, John. You too.